Hi folks, it's Andy. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Here we are for another episode of Kendo Rant. So, we've got plenty of questions for you today. We're going to get to them in just a minute, but before we do, don't forget the YouTube magic. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below using the word Kendo, okay? What a brilliant Kendo video. This is the best Kendo video I've ever seen. Best Kendo channel ever in the galaxy. Things like that, all right? And then the YouTube Ninja robots will know to go and find people and get them to start Kendo, okay? We've already got 762 billion people starting Kendo since yesterday afternoon, all right? And we're trying to double that by tomorrow. So it's really important that you do that. Let's make sure that we grow the Kendo community by doing that. Just hit my camera there. So my camera likes to focus on my main joy in the background, doesn't it? Anyway. More importantly than that, though, is if you like this show, if you like this channel, we've got loads of videos coming at you, all right? We did some feedback videos yesterday. We did some instructional content earlier this week. I've got an analytical video coming at you very, very soon as well. And basically, it all comes to you free of charge. Free of charge. No subscriptions, no memberships, no paying for subtitles. Here's a great bit to support it. All you have to do is a real win-win. This is shop at KendoStar.com. KendoStar is the best Kendo equipment website in the galaxy, universe, history of human race and future of it as well, and all other species. All right, it's the best thing to ever have happened. Now, of course, I would say that because I own the place, okay? But it's true, and everyone agrees with me. The highest rated Kendo store, not just Kendo store, we're one of the highest rated e-commerce platforms on independent reviews aggregate Trustpilot, all right? We're dead good, all right? You get brilliant equipment, you get the best service, all right? And you support this channel at the same time. It's not just a win-win, it's a win, win, and win again, all right? You're going to shop with us anyway? Shop at KendoStar.com, all right? Don't buy twice, buy right the first time round. Okay, right, let's get to these questions. Have you ever done a video on how to correctly fold Hakuman Kendogi? I feel like it's something I've done and then I just had to look through things and perhaps it's not. So yeah, let's do one. I'll do one, okay? I'll do one. I'll do one, all right? Because it's really important, actually, that you do that. Next one, my question is very simple. What's the best way to wash the men due to salt buildup? At the moment, I use a method of shower head in a low pressure to soak inside and out away from the metal bit, just to wonder if there's any other way, thanks. So you can do that. It's not a terrible way of doing it. What's really, really important with the men is that you keep the water away from the men buchi, all right? So not just the metal part of the cage, the mengane, but the men buchi, which is the hard leather rim that connects the cage to the hudon. Okay, that's the part's usually painted black and red. That's rawhide. If it gets wet, it's going to go soft, all right? And then it's going to change shape and then it's going to harden in a different shape. You definitely don't want to get that wet, all right? So another thing you can do is you can fill up a tub or a bathtub, excuse me, to a level where it would be below the mengane. So if you were to put the men down in the tub with the mengane facing up, then add water up to the level maybe a couple of centimeters below the mengane, and you can soak it in there for a little bit. I'll try and do a video on it when I get some time, but you can do it that way. And another way is, like you said, is using a shower head. The other thing you can do is you get a spray bottle and fill it with some water. After your practice, you can sort of spray your boga down just on the futon parts with that spray, okay? Next one. Hi Fish Sensei, I'm seeking guidance on footwork, particularly for entering Isoku Ito no Mai, and Uchima. As a shodan, I am being encouraged to step in and cut when there's an opening, or if no opportunity appears, retreat to a safer distance. Feels manageable in slow motion, but during Jigeko and Shiai, everything moves so quickly. When I'm trying this, I step in, looking for an opportunity, and unfortunately, I get cut immediately. I think my footwork becomes dead here. It's a common problem. And I look like a sitting duck, easy to strike. In the past, I used to cut as soon as I entered, regardless of an opportunity, so this challenge is new for me. Senpai recently suggested I focus intently on footwork, especially keeping my left foot ready. Good advice. Could you please advise on how to approach stepping into cutting distance while maintaining left foot readiness? I've noticed varied footwork styles too. Tsunaga Sensei, Eiga Sensei both move quite actively while in All Japan matches. There's often rapid micro steps forwards and backwards, and the back heel is raised and ready even if as they step in. Correct. Any insights you could share to help me better understand and develop my footwork be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Okay, so yes, no problem. Basically, I think the issue is you've got this sort of barrier with the idea of stepping in. So what I'm imagining you doing, and obviously I'm not seeing this, what I'm imagining you doing is like going bum bum and then trying to find a chance to hit, but as you go bum bum, then you're getting hit. I think the micro steps idea is a good idea, all right? You don't have to take one step to your cutting distance. Use small steps, all right? It doesn't have to be all at the same time or rhythm, yeah? So you can creep into it. Try to get there without the other person noticing even, yeah? Rather than just one big done this way and then they come and hit you, all right? So instead, try to be a little bit more, varied in terms of the pacing of your footwork as you approach your cutting distance. Okay? Next one. Hi Andy, I recently was successful in double grading from 4th to 2nd Q. Great. Prior to the grading, I was told to avoid do waza during the jitsugi portion of 2nd Q requirements. I've also heard that do waza, okay. I also heard that do waza are frowned upon, in example, first Q and shodan, etc. However, I've also been told exactly the opposite. As we know, advice varies like the wind, and I just wanted to concentrate on trying to achieve kentai no ichi. Apologies for the amateur spelling. Yeah, should we put you either want another C or a T in there? I like to use two C's because that's the way I type in Japanese. It's kentai no ichi, not ichi. Any clarification you could offer would greatly be appreciated. Thank you for all you and yours do for Kendo. Thank you very much. So, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I have a sort of real dislike for this kind of impression that we seem to have, like in the West or outside of Japan, in the countries, certainly in Europe, where gradings or advice for gradings contains this list of don'ts. Like, don't do this waza, don't do that, or don't do this. Whereas I don't think it's like that. If you look at the All Japan Kendo Federation and the International Kendo Federation's like guidelines for grading, which I think is aimed at grading panelists. It all says look for this, and in that it means look that the candidate shows this and shows that. Never says make sure the candidate doesn't do this or candidate mustn't do that. So I really don't like this kind of approach of like, if don't do this or you fail, don't do that or you fail. I don't think that's an appropriate way to approach grading. So in principle, I really don't like this idea, and it is something that I've heard before. Oh, don't do door strikes in a grading. Oh, don't do door strikes in a grading. Mustn't do door strikes in a grading. It's like, why are door strikes not part of Kendo now suddenly? You know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, do you need to do a door strike to pass the grading? No. All right? You can pass all the gradings all the way, pretty much all the way up to Hachidan. Probably in the maybe Nidan, Sandan, you need to show a few more waza. But like, certainly from Yondan to Hachidan, you can pass them all just doing men. Now, most people don't, right? Because it's not about which waza you use and which you don't at that point. But I think the point that's been trying to say to you is that when you're looking at the lower Q, well, not higher Q ranks, we should say, and the lower Dan grades, do you need to show door strikes? And that's the answer to that is no. Okay. So unless you're particularly confident in your excellent door strikes, then there's no need to do it. Okay. I think is a probably wiser way of considering it. Okay. Rather than you mustn't do, or it's frowned upon. And don't get me wrong, there are some grading panelists there that are like that for some weird reason. Oh, you mustn't do door. Oh, they did it. Oh, that was a perfect grading, but they did a door strike. Boom, boom, and you're not going through. Like, why would you do that? You know? So that's my thing. You know, the idea is, as you say, if you can show that you meet the criteria for passing the grading, then in theory you should pass the grading. All right. So yeah. Door strikes, like I understand though, you know, like hiki shodan, you don't need to do any. So it's not necessarily going to help or hinder you unless, but don't get me wrong, I remember I've sat on a grading panel before for shodan, I think it was, and the candidate was like, popped out this amazing men nuki do. It's like, wow, that is a beautiful men nuki do ippon, right? Okay, yeah, they can have shodan. You know, it's like a waza, like kind of above their level in a way. And the rest of the grading was fine, of course. It's not like the rest of the grading was trash. It was great. So, you know, I just don't like that. And I think the point I want to make is I think we shouldn't approach gradings with this negative mindset of you mustn't, oh, don't do that. Don't block. Can't block. Mustn't block. Now, you know, IQ shodan, you don't want to spend the grading like this. Of course you don't, right? But it's wrong to say, if you block, you fail. If you're like this, then yeah, it shows you not. It demonstrates you're not really in the right mindset for doing the grading. But like, if you it's not that defense doesn't exist in Kendo either. Look, I'm getting off topic. Don't go into the grading with a blocking mindset. What I'm talking about is don't have this sort of idea of you mustn't do. But try to focus on what you have to do, not what you shouldn't do. Okay. Okay, hello Fish Sensei, Kendo is life. Hashtag Kendo. If you don't do Kendo, how can you say that you are alive? Since Kendo is life, the logic is bulletproof. This is true. This is true. Now, to the question. It's a bit of a technical thing. The first thing is about Mune Chichikawa. So that's the leather loops at the top of the door. Mine has recently snapped and I replaced it. I had it replaced. Now I found that my door himo, that's the strings, keep getting undone during practice, but only on one side after about 30 or 40 minutes. I understand it could be me being not thorough enough to tie it, but I've never had that issue before and I believe I tie it the right way. Any advice to potentially having a knot that works without fail, or maybe to soften the new Mune Chichikawa? To be a little bit more supple. Again, not an expert in this, so any advice super appreciated. Second question, I recently, a few months back, got a new kote and have a spare pair. I want to know if there are good ways to soften them up quicker. I guess my general question is there a way to soften borgu parts quicker to be a little more comfortable quicker? Thank you, lots of respect. Okay, so I've never heard of the Mune Chichikawa being the reason for door himo coming untied. All right? So I'm a little bit skeptical that that's the reason why they're coming untied. There's probably another reason that might just be coinciding with the new door Mune Chichikawa. So I'd just be a little bit more diligent as you're putting it on. I don't think it's that they're not supple or something like that. Just make sure that you're managing to tie it properly. And then what I like to do is I like to hold onto the knot and give the bit that goes around my back a good pull that way, so that I get the most tightness out of it. Okay. About softening up your kote, yeah, there's things you can do. It depends on what type of kote. What you can do is you can sort of hold on to them, get hold of the fist section, hold on to the futon section, and kind of give them a good twist around. And the other thing you want to do is soften up the actual fist section. Is you can use a rubber mallet. Actually, put them against like a hard surface. Probably, like what I would do is put something down to like soften it underneath. So like if you got some old magazines or something, like pile them up like that thick, put them on, put the kote on top, and give it a little bit of a bash with a mallet, not a metal hammer. And don't hit it too hard. Don't be going bang like this. Just give it a little tap like that. And especially if they've got deer hair on the inside, then that'll break up the fibers a little bit. But you know, if you got your kote from KendoStar, after using them once or twice, they'll be fine anyway. So yeah, if you didn't, what can I say? Do you have any tips on improving fumigomi when doing a hikimen strike? So there's two ways to do fumigomi when doing hikiwaza, and it really depends on the type of hikiwaza you're going to do. One is to have your feet like this, the sort of very common way, and kind of bring your foot back, fumigomi as you jump back like this, bam, that way, bam, that way. That's one way, and then the other way is from this position is to do fumigomi on the spot, bam, that way, and use that fumigomi to push yourself back, bam, this way. That's the way I use more often. I use both. This one's kind of a little bit more useful for hikido sometimes because you get a little bit of extra distance out of it, and that kind of leap back telegraphs a little bit. And if I sort of bring the shinai up as I do that, they often think I'm coming from men, so their hands come up, and that's why I hit the door. So the thing is there's no quick fix. It's not easy, right? It's hard enough getting the grips of fumigomi when you're doing it forward, right? So then having to do it backward, it's another challenge again, isn't it? But it's just the same as before. It's just a case of practice and repetition, all right? You'll get it, all right? But what you have to do is you have to be strict on yourself, and don't be satisfied with strikes that you haven't properly done fumigomi with, all right? And just think, oh, I hit a hikimen, even though if you're honest with yourself, your fumigomi wasn't there, all right? It has to be correct, all right? So the key to improving fumigomi is really concentrating on it and being firm on yourself, all right? A lot of people, they fail to improve the hikiwaza and the fumigomi on hikiwaza because they're just satisfied with the fact that they hit their opponent. Okay, it's got to be more than that. Okay, next one says, it's been a few years for me in Kendo, and I always find it to get warm up properly. Find it hard to get warmed up properly when it gets colder. Even after warming up, I feel like the cold floor sucks the heat out of my feet. Tell me about, I hate it. After warming up, then listening to sensei instructions for a bit, my feet got cold again, getting worse. I feel like, come back in focus, there we go. Getting worse, I feel like my feet kind of numb around the third hour practice. Like I want to leap forward, but I just can't go. How to kendo in this situation? Also, thanks for showing the Akatsuki version since I asked a while back. Is it more expensive to make a bigger men that covers the entire head? Especially the custom made one, thank you very much. Okay, so look, yeah, it is an issue when it's really cold. And like if you practice in Japan in the winter, especially if you go to something like Kangek or something, it's horrible. It's so cold, I hate it. It's very hard to keep warm. And it's especially hard when you're in a sort of class where sensei likes to talk or something like that. But you just have to try and keep your feet moving a little bit. Now that's hard. When sensei's talking, it's not good to be walking around. Yeah. When the sensei's talking, you should stop and listen. You know, I get that. It's difficult, but you just have to do your best with what we've got. Try to make sure you keep stretching. Try to move your feet around as much as you can during your practice. I can't really give you more, much more advice than that. In terms of, is it more expensive to make a bigger men that covers the entire head? I don't know what you mean by that. If you mean to make the futon wider so that it covers more of the back of your head, that's definitely possible. And I don't think it's more expensive. Actually, it's not more expensive. If you're talking about one that like covers the back of your head, that doesn't exist, so that's not going to happen. But if you're just wanting a wider futon, yeah, we can do that. That's no problem. I don't believe it costs more. Okay, last one. Hello, Fish Sensei. I've been practicing Kendo for about 2 years, and for the last 8 months, my 18-year-old son has also been practicing. Late last week, I ordered his first Borga set. We want the new and improved Vanguard set. Oh, great. Thank you very much. It arrived today, and it's a beautiful set. Great. And he was excited to unpack it. I got to show him how to attach the himo and how to properly put it on. It was an amazing father-son moment. Thank you for everything you do for the Kendo community. Thank you for all your amazing videos, products, and customer service. Okay, so it's not a question, but a very, very beautiful comments. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. And it's really nice to hear that you had that lovely father-son moment whilst you were showing him how to put it together and put it on and everything like that. And I'm sure there'll be lots more of those moments to come. As someone that's a Kendo father, and both of my girls do Kendo, it just goes, you know, you just get more and more. You know, I taught my kids how to wear their borga, how to wear their uniforms. In the beginning days, actually, I wasn't their teacher at all. I had the luxury of them starting Kendo in Japan, so I was able to give them to another sensei, which I thought was a good thing. Especially as at that time I was still quite a competitively active player, so I was more concentrating on myself. But in the, you know, since moving back to the UK, you know, I've had to take on that responsibility really. Though with my oldest daughter, she's off on her own now, and she's back in Japan at the minute. So she's with a much more skilled and dignified sensei than I am. But you know, you do get these wonderful moments. Doing Kendo with your kids, you know, and I'm really happy to hear that. So congratulations on that. And as I say, I'm sure there's many more to come. So there we are. We're at the end. Thank you very much for joining me today. And there won't be a show next week because I'm away. Unfortunately, I'm traveling next week. But there'll be one in a couple of weeks. So I'll look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much for joining me today. See you next time. Bye bye. Shop at KendoStar.